Peace, blessings, and a whole lot of love. Goddess idea. Thanks for tuning in. I got some glasses, new glasses, right? But they are definitely not. When I go to read with them, it don't feel right. I don't know if I gotta get used to them, but my old broken glasses, to read, I had to put these on, so I'm gonna have to wind up taking these back. But anyway, it's hot. Oh my gosh, how y'all feeling out there? So anyway, this is story time. Um, I moved to Philadelphia 16 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. At that time, I had my four children, ages 17, 15, 10, and 3 months. My significant other, I was divorced from the first husband, which is the father of the first three kids, and the last child is from my second husband. He ended up serving an 8-year jail term. So at this time, my baby was 3 months. So I was having some financial difficulties because I was on maternity leave. I had decided to take 6 months instead of 3 months. And he ended up doing jail time. And my mom was living in Philly. My sister was living in North Carolina. One of my aunts had moved down to my aunt and my cousins moved to another part of North Carolina. So I had no one that I knew or trust other than family members to babysit while I go back to work. So then I used up all my maternity money, and you only get paid for 6 weeks. After that, you're on your own. So I was down to $80 in my pocket. So I was like, okay, I have to apply for public assistance until I even find me a babysitter so I can go back to work early. Which I didn't see happening because, I'm not the type of person to mix and mingle with just anybody. I'm very selective in who I socialize with. So I didn't know nobody else besides family members who no longer lived in New York. So the welfare kept giving me the runaround. I had rent that was due. I had to get school clothes. I had to do a lot, and I was running out of money. And I had $80 left, and my mother said, well, move to Philly so I can help you and you can start fresh out here. So I was skeptical about doing that because I know Philly is just too damn dead, and I'm used to the fast life in New York. So I was like, you know what, we're going to go. It's a fresh start. That'll give us an opportunity to get out the projects. Because the projects is not a safe place you really want to raise kids. And I was living in Brownsville for about 7 years. And so I was like, okay, we're going to pack up, left everything behind, took what we can, which was clothes, had some stuff smelt out there, and we moved to Philly with $80 in my pocket. And got to Philly. We stayed with my mom in her 1-bedroom apartment. So I had to apply for public assistance. I got the emergency food stamps, and I was entitled to $295 twice a month for a family of 5. They don't pay your rent out here in Philly like they do in New York. You'll get your rent, a certain amount for rent, and then you'll get more money for you and your kids. But out here, they just give you one sum. So I actually had to find an apartment with using that little money that they were giving me. So that means I was not going to be able to buy clothes and stuff for my children for a while. So I ended up getting efficiency. We moved out here in September 2004. I got the efficiency in October 2004. Found the job in October 2004. Making $8 an hour. Now, when I left New York, I was making $12 working as a teacher. I was a lead teacher for infant and toddler program. Making $12 with benefits. Moved out here, doing the same thing. I had to get Medicaid, and I was making $8 an hour. The setup was very different. It was really a horrible place to work, I must say. Well, I did not like it. And that just made that had depressed me. I was like, oh my gosh, I had this baby, got involved with this man, and now I'm taking care of all these 4 kids by myself. So ended up working at that job from October. I think I left, I don't know, before Christmas. I didn't work that long before I wound up quitting because I couldn't take it. First of all, they had all kinds of kids in there. Like I said, it wasn't set up. It was just a big ass space, and they had sections. It was nothing like I was used to in New York. But there was a child who there that had autism. He was like 4, and he was in pull-ups, and I had found that very disturbing because I did never had to work with children like that. So that was my first time experience working with a child with autism who was not potty trained. So I ended up quitting. So I was still receiving my public assistance because I didn't work that long for them to cut me off. So I stopped working, and the lady actually called me back to work again back in January of the following year. And this time I took my daughter, and she went to the center with me. Because welfare did pay for her to go to daycare. And I ended up working there up until that summer, and I quit. Now I transferred my daughter to another daycare, and I ended up filling an application out at the next daycare that I worked at. Ended up working there for 10 years. And during that course, we ended up we ended up having a fire at the efficiency apartment that we lived in. The efficiency apartment it was a house, 3 floors. They broke it down. It was like a duplex, but they broke it down and made it into rooms. So our apartment, which was on the 3rd floor, had 1 bedroom, the bathroom, and a living room. And we had to share the kitchen with the rest of the building. Very, very horrible experience, y'all. Very horrible experience. But what I learned, you have to start somewhere. So we lived there for about 3 years. 2 years. 2 years. We moved 2 years and a half. And I wound up getting a 2-bedroom apartment in an apartment building, which was better than efficiency. And I lived over there for about 7 years until my daughter bought a house. I was working at that job for 10 years. During that course, I got my bachelor's degree. I already had an associate's degree in office administration. Even when I got that job, the second job, they couldn't, because it was a private daycare. They couldn't pay me what I was worth. I started that job with $6 an hour. $6 an hour, but I prefer that over welfare. So I got my $6 an hour, which I still receive the food stamps for some of the time. And Medicaid, because that job didn't offer benefits either. When I left that job, I was making $12. So over the course of 10 years, I started at 6 and ended up making 12. But he was not trying to pay me higher than $12 after I got my bachelor's degree, and I was like, it's time to go. I had to put my fear to the side because I didn't like starting over, because I needed a stability in me and my children's life, because I know how I felt when I was growing up and we was getting evicted and moving from house to house, and I never wanted that for my children. So I stayed at that job for 10 years before I decided to say, you know what, you're worth more than $12. You got a bachelor's degree. Not only do you have the experience, you have the education. So I did what I need to do. I said, okay, it's enough is enough. I put my application online, and I started getting responses within a week. And within less than 3 weeks, I went on an interview, and I got the job. I didn't even have time to put my 2 weeks in notice. I went on an interview. Say I went on an interview on Tuesday, I was to start the next day. So what I'm saying is, yes, we started from the bottom. Some people are afraid to leave the environment in which they're comfortable. But sometimes you have to step out on faith. Sometimes you just have to take a chance, because if you never take a chance, things could never get better for you. And when I look back over where we at now, me having 2 degrees, my daughter bought a house, my daughter bought a car, my oldest son is an entrepreneur, my youngest son has a good paying job working in a hospital. No, the hospital, working for the college, not the hospital, working in the college. And I have a 16-year-old who isn't going to 11th grade. Right now, she's downstairs filling out for job applications. So, yes, we started at the bottom when we moved to Philly, but we did the necessary work within ourselves. And We're doing much, much better. So you cannot be afraid to step out of your environment. You can't. If you want to grow and you want more, you are the creator of your life. God lives within you. I don't care what nobody say. He does not live right. God is neither man or woman. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, lives within you, and you have the power to create a better life for yourself. You do not have to settle for less than what you deserve in any area of your life. And we always look back. We started from the bottom, and look where we at now. And I think about, had my children been raised in the projects, would they have turned out the way they did? And I look back, like, no, because first of all, my oldest son was too afraid to even come outside when we was living in the projects. He never wanted to go outside. And once we moved out that area, he never stepped foot back in that area. My youngest son probably would have been in jail because he probably would have murdered somebody. Because he had anger issues from what he witnessed with his father. And then I think about my oldest daughter. She could have had 3 or 4 babies. Brownsville Projects is not a place you want to raise children. Sometimes you have to start somewhere. But when I look back, and I thank my mom, who is no longer here with me, for telling me to move and to make that change, because it could have ended up very bad for me and my kids just living in that area. It was not a safe area. Lot of crime. It's a high crime rate area, and I can't see how anyone can live in that environment for 20 and 30 years without wanting better. I took a big pay cut when I moved to Philadelphia. I took a big pay cut, but we survived, and we're here now doing much, 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 much better. It was an experience, but it challenged me to get over my fears of starting over. And during that course, even when I moved out here, like I said, it wasn't easy. You had to adjust to the environment out here, the culture out here. Like, everything closes early. It's really, really quiet. But I got the help that I needed from my youngest son, when I left New York, I was still on medication because I had suffered from depression and panic and anxiety disorder a few years before we moved out here, which stemmed from my childhood. That affected my children. It affected my children, especially my youngest one, who became very, very overprotective over me. He ended up with some behavior issues, and it didn't help me with him in New York. I tried to get a probation for him because he was cutting school when he was in 3rd grade. Just doing things. And when I got here, I got the help that he needed, which made him better. Well, he's 26 years old now. Don't have any children. Work very hard. So my children are on the right path, and I am grateful. I'm not boasting, but I'm grateful. And sometimes you just have to put your fear aside and take that step, because it might be the best step that you could ever take for yourself. To think that I came out here with $80 in my pocket and 4 kids, no child support. I don't even know what child support is. I never knew what that was because I never received it, because my first husband ended up doing jail time for a domestic violence incident. He did 14 years, so he's down south doing good. And the second husband, people probably say, well, what happened? Why you choose those type of beds? You live and you learn. All about self-love. 2 different men with 2 different reasons why they did what they did. But when you begin to understand a person's childhood and the stuff that they experienced, then you can understand why they make the choices they did as an adult. Yeah, it really helps you understand them. So anyway, so I never received child support. I was a single parent from the time my oldest child was 10 years old, and she's 33 now. So child support, never had none of that. Could go after child support from my second husband because my daughter's 16, but for what? For what? I'm not going to put him in the system, because if I put him in the system, it actually hindered him from getting a lot of help and from the state or anything. Might can get a little bit of food stamps and Medicaid, but he might not can get a car loan. He might not can get a loan from the house. So putting the man on his system because you mad at him or because you unable to take care of your child. I feel like this as a mom. If you choose the wrong man to lay down and have a child with, you should be able to take care of that child with or without that man. Help, period. First of all, you shouldn't be out there having babies just to be having a baby to trap a man or because he look good. But if you decide to lay down with a man and you are unable to financially provide for that child, or you bid and you got to put that man on child support, that's sad. That's really sad. I do not know what the hell child support is. Never received a dollar from either one of them through the system a day in my life. And at first when I started the divorce petition, before I started the divorce petition, after I found out he was cheating, the second husband, I attempted to put him on child support, but it was such a hassle. I'm like, why? If he doesn't provide any support for her financially, he got to answer to her when she older and ask him why he didn't help take care of her. He got to live with that. So why am I going to miss days and mess up my income because he refusing to do right by his child? So I let all that go, and it is what it is. I have a healthy friendship with my first husband. Lives in a whole nother state. He's involved in all his children's life, even the child that's not his. The second husband, who was still married because it's stressful. I tried to get a divorce from him. He didn't want it, so I left it alone. And right now I have the new paperwork sitting here ready to be filed, but COVID-19 has stopped all that. So he's trying to make up, by being a part of her life, calling her and texting her. He's trying to make up to me by calling me, but I told him that we could never be anything but parents to our daughter because I don't got enough time dealing with a psychopath, side chick, and the side baby. And I have a man in my life that treats me well, respects me, and I don't have all that drama. So I'm not gonna throw that to the curb and go backwards. That doesn't make any sense. Like my second husband had a chance to do right by me on multiple occasions, and he didn't do it. So it is what it is. And I don't know. I guess when the divorce is finally final, then he'll get it. We would never be husband and wife. I love myself too much to be allowing a man to cheat on me, mistreat me, and keep going back to him when he's gonna keep doing the same thing. So your life is what you make it, women. I'm speaking to the women. Your life is what you make it. I feel no pity for a woman who is mentally, emotionally capable of doing the right thing and making a better life for her and her children. Once she begins to love herself and stop depending on a man to love her, that's when she'll start seeing changes in her life. Stop chasing after a married man. Stop chasing after men that don't mean you no good. Until you let go of that and learn your lessons, you're going to stay at the bottom. Peace, blessings, and a whole lot of love. God is Hadia.